This is some of the biggest news that we've actually had out of the year. Good morning to everybody, including, the 34% of you that have not smashed love and crap out of that subscribe button. Smash it so we can climb up, well, the 100,000 ladder here. So we got some amazing news today, and I know Payne is going to be absolutely excited for this. Duelist of Explosion. I can't think of 5 duelists who count as fire duelists off the top of my head, but I'm going to take care of that today. We're actually going to cover what we might actually see in here. 6 if you want to be generous. The newest duelist pack, Duelist of Explosion, includes cards used by duelists from the anime and manga and is confirmed to release on May 27th. Alright, this booster pack is designed to supercharge decks of duelists who use fire monsters, souping up their decks with brand new cards. Now, what's going to be very interesting about this is the duelist packs in the TCG have been an absolute abysmal failure. So you're probably going to see these get broken up into sets going forward here. So a little bit of a heads up there. So what in the world can we get from this? Well, our dear friend Axel Brody here. Many of you might remember this as the duelist from GX. What is Axel really mainly most known for? Well, this is actually what I'm super most excited about, and this is why I mentioned Payne specifically in this video, is because this is the Blaze Accelerator, the Volcanic rocket. Now, to be fair, Volcanic rocket, Blaze Accelerator, I mean, those are like the best cards that you really have going for the Volcanic theme at this point. Most of the rest of the stuff isn't necessarily that great. Alright, it's just, Volcanic Shell, the whole Tri-Blaze Accelerator shenanigans that you could use as interruption during the opponent's turns. That's really about it, unfortunately. So I am definitely expecting that this or the next theme that I mention here in a second will be in this video, or in this duelist pack, because it doesn't make sense for them to not include one of these 2 big bangers. Now, our dear friend Theodore, oh boy, I certainly do appreciate Theodore being Soulburner, the main, I almost said the main character from Brains, sorry to dear old Cyverse users out there, but yes, this is where you get your Salamangreat power up here from good old Soulburner. The biggest things that I want to mention with this is, iconically, when you think of fire, it's usually Volcanics. It's usually, I mean, you would think of Salamangreat, right? Because, it is the fire archetype. And to be fair, Salamangreat hasn't gotten as much support as a lot of these other fire archetypes. But I mean, to be fair, this is Duelist Pack Fire, so they can really pull anything out of their butt for this to really get this off the ground to work. Now, as much as I want to see new Salamangreat support, I'd rather have Alito over here actually give the chance to do something, because Alito's archetype here, he is one of the Chaos number users, and we have been going through and revisiting a lot of the Zexal stuff, which has been kind of nice. But the thing that you might recognize Alito for is actually the Battlin boxers. Battlin boxers were a fan favorite theme for a little while for their era, and I know a lot of people are actually kind of missing out on the chance to kind of see this deck come back. The first wave of Battlin boxer support, there was really never much more to it, which was actually really sad, actually, because this theme was so cool in its like unfolding parts. So I really do hope the fact here that we do get something else with Battlin boxer, because a modern era power-up for these particular cards would be amazing, alright? Now, I'm not saying that I don't want to see Volcanic support, because I do, but I also want to see Battlin boxer support. Could I live without Salamangreats? Yeah, I could, actually. But this would be a very nice spin back through here for the chance to kind of see what we could do there. Now, Jack Atlas, much like, I didn't actually pull up a Kiza for this, and I probably should have, because, you know, Black Rose is, in fact, a fire monster. But I do want to give a shout out here to Jack Atlas, because Jack had, obviously, you know, like, some of the Resonators were fire. You also had, you know, Red Dragon Archfiend here. And remember, Red Dragon Archfiend did end up, once again, you know, technically overlaps with, like, a lot of the fire themes, a lot of the power-ups that the dragon itself... I mean, didn't Jack, like, beat, like, the Demon of Hell or something in the show, if I recall? It was something ridiculous in terms of lore that he just got the chance to get, like, a super crazy power-up for no real reason. Just, people were like, what in the world happened with that? So... I am a little bit on the fence here about this one, because this one doesn't feel like it makes as much sense to kind of give Red Dragon something else in the set when there are so many better candidates. Now, this one's kind of cool. Noah Kaiba. Now, for those of you that remember Noah, you remember Noah played a spirit-based deck in the anime. Now, Konami's been dropping little subtle hints to us that, you know, we've been getting little power-ups and little... They're handing us little spirit cards every blue moon. You know, you just kind of pay attention and you're like, huh, you know, like, this has been kind of cool. Now, technically, Noah really wasn't a super, like, canon character. I mean, if you watch Yu-Gi-Oh!, Noah's not exactly one of the characters that you put on the top of your priority list for remembering things. But he did play, like we said, spirits here, which definitely, I mean, his boss monster, Yamato Dragon, technically did meet the, you know, the requirements of being a fire monster. So if we're going to go after Jack Atlas here, and you know, Kizan, we're going to mention, you know, their boss monsters had, you know, ties to, like, the fire attribute and things like that, well, then you could see spirit support. I'm reaching a little bit more with this one, for sure, but there is a possibility here of something that you could see with Yamato Dragon. So that's definitely one of the cuter things that we could see out of this. Now, there is Hunter Pace, and you're probably like, what in the filler character is this? Well, Hunter he had a Texan accent back from 5Ds. This was one of those little side duelists that you probably very unironically don't remember, but he actually played the Burning Skullhead archetype. This was 3 cards that we got imported into a video game that is actually still worth money. I don't know if you remember this or not, but, like, I don't necessarily think that we are going to get something crazy like this. A power-up like this just very much felt like 3 cards we give to a filler character, and we say, all right, Duelist, go on with your day. But technically, it was a flaming zombie. Did have synergy with, you know, the other, what is it, like the Shiranuis, I guess, because they're also fire at the end of the day, but something of interesting little note value there. Now there is, I believe this is called Gregor. Gregor is an interesting duelist because this is where you get some support that doesn't really tend to have a home, I feel like. He was very famous for, like, the Ignition Beast of Vulcan, and then we also had access to the Blaze Phoenix OTK because of this duelist, alright? So, if you are looking at this, technically the support that he had between, like, this was, like, all just machines that were, like, really cool and powerful that you could kind of combine together and get the chance to do really big plays with. And I will say for the most part here that I'm not all that... I don't think that we're going to see this from Gregor here. Like, it doesn't make any sense as to why they would approach this. Now, there's one last one here that definitely has my attention, and it is Skip Boyle. Now, you probably have no idea who the heck this is, and I don't blame you. Alright, this was a character from Arc V. Now, I remember his archetype actually was specifically mentioned on a list of voting earlier, and it was the Guts Master archetype. Now, the Guts Master archetype basically is, from what I understand, just the ability to call out a bunch of stuff and kind of capitalize on some large range of monsters. But this would be something that they could very easily work with here within this set because of the fact that, hey, you know, we've gone ahead I mean, they've proven to us that besides, like, they can pull retrains and things, but there's nothing stopping them from printing an entirely new archetype from the show, especially, you know, if it was on previous voting for options for new cards. So those are a little bit more than 6 Duelist, luckily, that have touched some fire stuff. I'm sure there's way more, but those are the generic ones that I can think of. So please, leave a comment down below, tell me what you guys think, and I will see your beautiful faces back here later in the day, guys. Peace out. Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.